how do you balance out like the thought of, hey, 7-3 is a quality record. We're still winning our division versus 2 of these last 3 games are games we probably wish would have gone a completely different direction?
Well, I think, each one of them were different. I think, if you would have, at the beginning of the season and then really as of late, we had this Kansas City game circled as one that that was going to be a tough one. I mean, you go up to Kansas City and play. It's one of the hardest places to play in the NFL. And then on top of that, you throw in the fact that they have been playing really well. That's a tough one, but still no excuses. You've got to play better than we played if we ultimately want to be the team we want to be. I thought our defense settled in after the first 3 drives, and we were able to, respond. And I thought played pretty good defense the rest of the way against a very explosive offense, as everybody was able to witness. They certainly have a lot of weapons, certainly a great quarterback in Mahomes, but I thought our defense did a good job. We just, you got to hand it to the Chiefs and Spagnuolo, and certainly their crowd affected us on offense as well in terms of communication and getting off the ball. But we just, didn't execute, didn't play as well as we're going to have to play if we're going to be the type of team we want to play. Obviously, this is a team that we, really count on our offense to play at a high level week in and week out. And, if there's one positive here, the defense, I do think is getting better each week. And certainly, we were, had to work through some things out there with not having Amari and certainly not having CD the second half. And be nice to get Tyron back this week. So, we have to execute, we have to play better, but there's reasons to believe we can.
So speaking of Tyron Smith, maybe as a Cowboys fan, just too optimistic on Friday, leaving the air that he was going to play this Sunday. Can you explain maybe what happened Friday up to game time on that decision that Tyron wasn't going to play?
Well, it's just, the full body of work there. And, Britt Brown, who I think is one of the best in the business at getting these guys ready to play, and Tyron and working through it with him. We just didn't feel like he was quite ready to go yet, and didn't want to have one of those things where we got him out there and, he had to start over again. But I feel really good about him playing this week. And, it's just a tough decision that we have to make, but it is a long year. And certainly, we miss him, but be great to get him back.
Did playing this Thursday factor into it at all, going, boy, if we play him this Sunday and then he only has 3 days off for the next game, maybe it's just best to give him this day and give him 3 extra days where we don't lose him the rest of the year?
I think it's the full body of work there. I mean, you put everything into the equation and you make the decision. But I think the bigger decision right there was just, how he felt, leading up to the game. And, we really felt like we needed to get him, some practice in. He got a little bit in, but not a lot. And, was still feeling it to some degree. And you got to take note of that. And certainly, we've got to do everything that we think's in our best interest, for the entirety of the season. And I don't think this is anything that we're going to have to manage, not unlike Dak. Same as Dak, we just feel like once, he's ready to roll, he'll be ready to go, and feel like he's ready to, barring some unforeseen setback this week, he should be ready to play this Thursday.
How's Zeke feeling? Because I felt like the team probably could have run the ball a little more effectively yesterday, but there was the question mark of whether or not he was actually the Zeke we typically see.
Well, he's had a little bone bruise there. That's been there, but he's a competitor. He's tough. I think our bigger issues were, the Chiefs played at a high level, and certainly there were some things there that. That's part of having a home field advantage. We've had it at AT&T, and, it's a challenge for offenses when you're not able to communicate, not able to hear the snap counts. You're going on silent counts, and, those things are challenges, and that's why, it's you got the quote-unquote home field advantage. So I just feel like we'll be able to work through this. We know this was going to be a difficult game, a difficult place to play against Super Bowl caliber team. They've won one and won the last 2 years. So, we knew this was going to be a hard one, but we've got to rebound from this, not unlike we did the Broncos, and come out and play well against the Raiders.
Will it be a game-to-game evaluation on McGovern versus Williams at that guard position?
I don't think that, we'll just have to sit down and visit with Mike and the coaches, and, we'll be evaluating how everybody's doing out there. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's game to game, but you certainly, when you have a team with the depth we have, you certainly got to come and you got to compete week in and week out. Each and every player on our team does. And but I wouldn't necessarily say it's week to week, but we'll certainly evaluate, how we think this whole group did, and we'll be meeting on that here as the day goes on today.
Are you happy that you don't have to play against Chris Jones every week?
Well, hats off to him. He was playing at a high level. Obviously, he had his A game going, and he gave us fits. And he's a great player for the Chiefs, and certainly played at a tremendously high level. And he's a great player.
Now, we're talking with Stephen Jones right here on 105 Through the Fan. You and Jerry have told us about all of the COVID protocols and everything like that. When did you learn that Amari Cooper would be unavailable? And is there any level of disappointment that he'll automatically be out for Thursday as well because he is not vaccinated?
Well, you always hate to lose a great player for any reason, and certainly it's difficult when you lose a player like Amari. But this is the process that we're in, and he won't sit out any longer than any other player. The only thing that is different with him is he has to test every day, and obviously the rest of our team tests on Mondays. So any other player that's not vaccinated has to test every day, and that's just part of the NFL protocol. But certainly respect everybody's thoughts on these things and where they come down, and we'll work our way through it just like we have everything else.
And I definitely hear you about the respecting everyone's decisions. I certainly understand that. But when you said he won't sit out any longer than any other player, had he been vaccinated, would he not be potentially eligible to play on Thursday?
No, not when he tests. It's 10 days from the time you test.
Oh, even if you're vaccinated, you're still out 10 days?
Unless you test negative.
Okay, so potentially then. Gotcha.
Unless you test negative, but no, that's it. The only thing that was different with him than most of our other players is that he was testing as the week went on, and our other guys were not testing.
Gotcha.
All right, so Steven, the other wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, suffers a concussion right before halftime, and you need to help me out on the education of this too, is when can CeeDee Lamb start testing his concussion to possibly be available for Thursday?
He'll start his protocol right away, and he's doing really well, so he'll have an opportunity to play. If he were having, issues today, then you'd probably be a little leery. But the fact that so far he's doing well, but he'll have to go through testing, and so we won't really know that until Thursday.
Okay.
Stephen Jones joined us here on the KNC Masterpiece on 105 Through the Fan. The argument's going to continue. It's going to persist, and it's probably never going to go away until maybe DeMarcus Lawrence comes back and Randy Gregory comes back. Micah Parsons put on a show at Edge, and I've been fighting against it, Stephen. I've been trying to say, look, I just want this guy all over the field, but I keep getting the debates, and then whenever he does that, it's kind of really good evidence. Do you think, hey, we pigeonhole this guy as an edge, or is there no pigeonhole for this guy?
Well, I just think he's been so effective all year doing everything. And when you have a player like that, and as you well know, he's been coming off the edge almost every game, just sometimes more than others. But then you see how effective he is. Obviously he could be a great player just coming off the edge, but he's also makes so many plays, doing a lot of different things, whether it's finding the quarterback, whether it's blitzing up the middle, whether he's in coverage or coming off the edge. I just think he's such a weapon for our defense. And boy, Dan Quinn sure seems to have a great feel for how to use him and his, he's got freakish skills and how to use those skills. And I do think it's something that where, hey, you break the huddle and you don't know where the guy's lining up in terms of how you're going to double team him, how you're going to chip him, how you're going to deal with the players. So, it's hard for me to argue that, as you said, you can make a lot of arguments in a lot of places for it.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty good at wherever you seem to put him. And so, it's just a great problem to have. And I think, he's only going to show up more as we get Randy Gregory back and DeMarcus Lawrence back, which hopefully is right around the corner. And it should just make our defense all the more dynamic when you have your pass rushers and you have Micah adding to that. Should be a handful for, the quarterbacks that we're going to be playing down the stretch.
How much does your mind run wild or Dan Quinn's mind run wild with that potential? Or do you have to be like, hey, let's just wait till they're actually back and focus on who's on the field now?
That tends to be where we all end up. Let's just temper our enthusiasm and let's wait till we actually get them back because you never know what's going to happen. The perfect example I saw was just a couple of weeks ago when the Rams signed Odell Beckham, but then lost their number one or number two receiver the next day to an ACL. So, you just never know with this league when the next injury's coming. It's certainly a part of our game. The good news for us is we do feel like, this is one of our deeper football teams we've had in years, and we should be able to work through most things, but certainly we ran into a buzzsaw yesterday with a hot Chiefs team on the road and a hard place to play. But knowing our group, knowing this team, I feel good that we'll rebound.
All right, Stephen. Well, thanks for your time. And I know that don't give Stephen Jones any pumpkin pie, and your dad can't get enough of it at this time of year.
Y'all are great. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
You too.
Thank you so much, Stephen.